Dr. Daver, what is the importance of clinical trial participation as it relates to breakthroughs in AML? And what advice do you have for AML patients considering a clinical trial?
Clinical trials are critical for the progress that we have already seen in acute myeloid leukemia. All the drugs that have been approved in the last 6-7 years, including venetoclax, FLT3 inhibitors, midostaurin, gilteritinib, hopefully quizartinib, other emerging targeted therapies, IDH1, IDH2 inhibitors, menin inhibitors, CD47 antibodies. We've learned about all of them and have got approvals in many of them through the ongoing clinical trials. I think it's very important for patients to realize that in most large academic centers, we would only participate in a clinical trial if we think it has the potential to improve the standard of care in the future. There's very little incentive for academic investigators or clinical investigators, such as myself, who are very, very busy, to get involved in a trial if we don't think that it has the potential to improve the outcome or change the nature of AML therapy in the future. So a lot of patients often ask me, oh, I won't be randomized to the placebo arm. There is no real placebo alone arm in any AML study that I'm aware of. Most of the studies will use standard of care, which is what you would have gotten wherever you were getting treatment at home, locally, community hospital, versus standard of care plus, where the new drug will be added, whether it's the FLT3 inhibitor, the CD47 antibody, the menin inhibitor. So there's a good chance, 50%, that you are going to get standard of care plus that we think has the potential to improve the outcome. Of course, we never know. That's why we do the trial. But we think based on the previous preclinical data, the phase 1, the phase 2 data, that this looks like it will improve the outcome for this molecular or cytogenetic group versus standard of care, which is what you would have gotten. So I think it's important to realize that you will never get less than standard of care in any clinical trial, at least in the AML field and at least in our experience at MD Anderson. Now, beyond that, there's also phase 1 and 2 studies, and those are the ones that we focus on quite a bit at MD Anderson. These are single arm studies, meaning everybody will get the investigational agent combo. So azacitidine venetoclax, we were one of the first sites to work on and lead this study, and all of our patients in 2015-16 were getting this regimen. It was not approved till much later in 2019-20. And for those 3-4 years, our patients, hundreds of patients, were able to get that combination, which probably cured many, many more than would have been cured with the standard of care until, of course, it got approved 4 years later. But for an AML patient, of course, you cannot wait 3-4 years. So I'm a huge believer in clinical trials. I think it's really, really important, both for the patients themselves as well as for the field, for us to be able to move the entire AML field forward in the next decade. And I would very strongly consider looking at or discussing with your treating physician trial options. And then you can also look at them on your own through clinicaltrials.gov or other societies, leukemia, lymphoma, other that give a lot of information on clinical trials. So my activation tip related to this question is that I think clinical trials are critical, both for the patients themselves to get access to what we call tomorrow's medicine today, as well as potentially to help move the entire field forward. All of the clinical drug approvals and progress we have seen in AML in the last 6-7 years have come through clinical trials that patients in the past have agreed to kindly participate and helped probably themselves by getting better medications and combinations, and definitely the field to move forward. So definitely a big proponent of clinical trials.